Hello, good morning, and welcome to Euros Daily. It's 9 a.m. exactly on Tuesday, the 22nd of June. Do you know how we know? Because Roz's alarm just went off at 9 o'clock, his little 9 o'clock reminder to be on the pod. Luckily, you were already here. It's day 12 of Euro 2020. I'm Joe Carter, and I'll be your guide throughout this pan-European footballing party. Lots to get through today, with yesterday's games to review and two massive games to preview today. Our Man of the Match and Dick of the Day awards, and Roz's iconic stat of the day. All that to come here on Euros Daily. Comment, like, subscribe, allow notifications, and share this video. Alongside me today, it's the half Scottish, half English version of Ben Chilwell. Hasn't been seen on a football pitch in a while, but he wouldn't be able to resist hugging Billy Gilmore given the chance. It is, of course, Roz Mac. How you doing, Roz?
That's a great intro. All factually accurate. You know how I like my facts. Not too bad, thanks. Pumped. Really looking forward to this. Unlike the last England-Scotland match day, where I was absolutely cacking it. Feeling hopeful today. And I get to support both teams because they're not playing against each other.
Nice. Right, let's get straight into it. So yesterday's games, the 5 o'clock games first up. Ukraine and Austria played, and North Macedonia and Netherlands played. And that was all to do with settling Group C. Now, I've got a little graphic of the finished group to bring up on the stream. I've got the finished groups there, and I've got our fixtures for later. So, as you can see, Netherlands 3... was it 3-0 or 3-1? I can't remember now. Netherlands 3-0 victory against North Macedonia. North Macedonia had like 2 goals disallowed, didn't they? They looked good in that. And Ukraine's 1-0 defeat to Austria meant that the group finished up looking like that. Group C, so Netherlands 9 points, Austria 6 points, Ukraine 3 points, North Macedonia nil points. Somehow didn't score a goal. They must have had about 4 disallowed goals in the tournament. Gutted for them. Roz, Goran Pandev got a 67th minute guard of honour as he left the pitch. Did they choose the 67th minute because he's 67?
You've chosen to talk to me about that because you know it's the kind of thing that pisses me off, right? Yeah, I did in like when John Terry left Chelsea in the 26th minute and all that kind of mid-game sort of stuff, unless it's for a tragedy, unless it's something like the Christian Eriksen stuff. If it's just something like that, then just do a substitution at any time. Don't need to do all the bells and whistles with it.
I think they would have done the 10th minute because that's his shirt number traditionally, isn't it? But I mean, they would have done a lot worse had he gone off in the 10th minute. he's the national hero. He's a national hero.
Fine, but they've lost 3 games. Yeah, they've done. Have they done worse than Turkey? That'd be a feat. But they've. I think that what's their goal difference? What did it finish on? -6. They're almost as bad as Turkey.
Almost, not quite. Almost,
not quite. Didn't want to go too far there, but I mean, seriously, like it's a game of competitive football, and you're stopping it to do a little guard of honour.
Okay, look.
Like it's not that sort of playground game.
Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the game itself. We've done it. We said before this, we were like, let's not go off the rails too much. Let's just talk about the game. We've already done it. Right. Okay, here we go. Netherlands won out 3-0. Depay and Wijnaldum with 2. Wijnaldum's now joint top scorer in the tournament on 3. Don't see that lasting. I was gutted when Denzel Dumfries didn't put one away in the first half. I was ready to jump out of my seat. He is an absolute steam train, isn't he? He comes out of nowhere. It's sort of, he's not in the picture, and then suddenly he's like, boom, here he is at the back post. Overall, great performance from the Netherlands. They did look leaky. Those 2 offside goals were very marginal. They were very close. And although the Netherlands, the press in the Netherlands this morning is singing the praises of the Netherlands, and Frankie de Jong dribbles like Zinedine Zidane, and no one's talking about us missing Virgil van Dijk anymore. All this stuff. I mean, really though, have they got what it takes?
No, they looked good. I actually thought they looked much better with Depay and Marlon up front. Actually, that quick goal on the break, it was the Depay goal, that was good enough for me to give my man in the match day to Donyell Marlon. Bit of a left field one, but the quick touch out of his feet.
He's a striker. Away. He's not a left midfielder. He's a striker.
That's funny. Well done. But no, one for the future definitely. Donyell Marlon. He'll be getting a big move. If not this summer, the next, I'd imagine. Looks like a real talent.
Yeah, interesting one.
Yeah,
Daniel
no,
Marlon. He's a Arsenal youngster. He
yeah, I heard that. And I
didn't
thought,
cut it
oh,
at
another
Arsenal.
one.
The
You
Dutch
guys
Harry
don't know.
Kane.
That
Um,
had done the auditions, all of that. You just you can't hang on to them, can you?
yeah.
Um,
In the other game, it finished 1-0 to Austria. Baumgartner getting the one goal on 21 minutes and then coming off after 32 minutes with some sort of injury. This one, right, so Austria, the press in Austria, this team's created history. History has been made. La-di-da-di-da. They've lined up a match against Italy. And the interesting one from here, Roz, is David Alaba played in the third different position in 3 games for Austria. So he played kind of attacking midfielder in the first game, second game centre back.
Yeah.
Yesterday he was left back. Do they just put Alaba wherever they think the biggest danger is, or the way where they can expose the most kind of attacking options? They just put Alaba there and hope for the best.
Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, whether it's sort of mirroring what the threat is or actually what the weakness is. I mean, it's just to sort of go above anything else they have, really. Even the likes of Marco and Arnautovic and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like Alaba's just a different level, but probably like the best. I was thinking this the other day. Like, is he the best utility player of all time?
Potentially. I mean, it's between him and James Milner, isn't it?
I don't know if you'd count like people like Beckenbauer as a utility player or just a sort of not what you associate with the position. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, yeah, absolute world class talent. I didn't actually watch that game. I watched the highlights because I watched the Netherlands game. And then when I watched the highlights, it was just the goal pretty much. So I think I dodged a bullet with that one.
Cool. Okay, so then we moved on to the 8 o'clock games. Finland 0, Belgium 2, and Russia 1, Denmark 4. I mean, some great results there, especially if you're rooting for Denmark, which you'd have to have something a bit wrong with you if you weren't rooting for Denmark yesterday. What an outstanding game, Roz. It finished 4-1 to Denmark. Damsgaard, Poulsen, a thunderbolt from Christensen, and Mæhle scored. A Juba pen kind of offered some sort of solace for Russia, but Denmark were just too strong, came out, all guns blazing, absolutely fantastic. And did you see at the end of the game, they all gathered round in a circle, didn't they? And I thought they were going to like FaceTime Christian Eriksen or something, but they were literally just refreshing the group table, weren't they, on that guy's phone? They were refreshing the group table. Come on, have we qualified? Have we qualified? And they got it, and then they all started going mental, yeah. So it's nice to see Denmark in the last 16. They will... Whoops, hang on. What have I just done there? Whoops. They have lined up a game against Wales, which will be a very interesting game. Wales against Denmark. Well, as it stands, it's Wales, and it most likely is Wales, like 99% sure Wales. But, you know, barring any major issues.
Yeah, I think well, firstly, I can't believe that you and Mus were watching the Belgium-Finland game.
It's only because I had 3 Belgium players.
By the way, you guys did actually watch the game where there's actually something to play for, right? And you didn't just watch a second-string Belgium side against the sort of, they're inevitably going to beat this battling Finland side. You're going to watch the game where there's actually a hell of a lot to play for.
I don't know. I think it's probably
in the last 10 minutes when you're like, oh, actually, that's quite a good game. I mean, it's a cracking game, sort of start to finish, really. Russia were doing time wasting in like the 11th minute or something. It was brilliant. They were just like, they were getting yellow cards in the first half, like constantly, but just like taking their time, clearly just playing for the draw. And it's like you're in Copenhagen and it's just not going to end well. The Christensen bullet is the one that I think everyone would have seen. Damsgaard was an absolute, his goal, the first one, from the kid. I mean, he's 20, I think he's 20 and he's 21 in July. Absolute talent. I think he plays for Sassuolo and cracking goal. Really, really good. My dick of the day will go to Roman Zobnin for that pass. I mean, beautiful assist for Yusuf Poulsen. Beautiful assist.
Yeah.
It was great when they were analysing it. He sort of like looked over his shoulder, saw Poulsen, and then played the pass to him.
Yeah, he absolutely picked that pass, didn't he? It was a beautiful, beautiful assist. Fair play. Good shout for Dick of the Day. So the group finished Belgium on 9 points, Denmark on 3 points, but with a goal difference of +1. Finland sadly finishing third, but still could qualify. We'll see what happens with -2 goal difference, and Russia bottom -5. Roz is shaking his head, presumably because he wants Scotland to be one of the teams to qualify. But I mean,
It's in their hands.
it is in Scotland's hands. And the other big thing that happened last night with that victory for Denmark meant that England are through.
England were going to be through anyway, though, weren't they?
But it means without kicking a ball, they're through. So pressure off this evening against the Czech Republic. And before we go on to preview that game, let's just remind you, if you're enjoying what you're watching right now, you can like this video. You can get in the comments and give us your opinions. Give us your predictions for the games this evening. And subscribe to the channel, allow notifications, and you'll know every time we go live to do our daily Euro podcast. It is, of course, Euros Daily with Mus, Roz, and myself, Joe Carter. No Mus today, he's on holiday, but he is in the comments and he says, fingers crossed we can hear the joyful sounds of Yes Sir, I Can Boogie by Baccarat at full time in Hampden Park today. He also says, with the Belgium game, I guess this is his excuse for watching the Belgium game, I was just happy that Jeremy Doku, my one to watch for the tournament, was getting minutes. I so wanted to watch him. What a great word. So, okay, let's get on then, shall we, to the major talking points of today. It is, of course, 2 massive games in Group D. Czech Republic, England at Wembley, and Croatia against Scotland at Hampden. As we said, England qualified already without kicking a ball, and Scotland, well, they need to win, don't they, Roz? That is it. It's win or bust.
Yeah, but it's so much better than it was last night, because what it could have been would be win and cross your fingers on goal difference. You know, they don't need to win by a set amount of goals. They don't need to do anything with the goal difference. All they need to do is get a win against a Croatia side that haven't impressed. They're losing Billy Gilmore, which would be a huge miss. But I think now you've got Kieran Tierney back in the fold. I think actually, Billy Gilmore didn't play all that many qualifiers. It's mainly sort of McGregor, Armstrong, occasionally, and Tomine there.
He didn't he just make 1 or 2 sub appearances basically recently? He didn't play in any of the qualifiers, Gilmore, did he? That was his first
every time he played,
start.
he got man of the match. It was hilarious.
Right.
Every time he sort of got an appearance, it was like, oh, he's a bit good. He's quite good at football. No, he's definitely one for the future. But he was outstanding against England. But actually, he didn't really play too many of the qualifiers. And I think, again, now Kieran Tierney's back, you've got options there. Particularly at centre-half, you can push McTominay back out. But yeah, Scotland have just got to go for this. The other thing is that Brozovic got dropped in the last Croatia game. And actually their midfield haven't looked really up to much. I think Modric just looked like an old man, to be perfectly honest. I think Scotland can hit them, they can hurt them. And it's at Hampden Park, which would be absolutely electric. And all they need to do is win.
Yeah.
All they need to do.
It's kind of a last chance for Croatia's golden generation. And it's kind of a big chance for Scotland. They've got almost a golden generation of their own, at the moment. They've got a good crop of players. And Croatia's is kind of on the way out and Scotland's is maybe on the way in. Tom's in the comments. You're going to love this one, Roz. He says, can't see Scotland beating Croatia. They're savvy, but they're a team full of old heads. Probably 1-1. I can't help but think it could be 1-1 going into this kind of the last 5 or 10 minutes, but then I can't help but think both teams will be desperate for that win.
100%. And the other thing is that what we saw in the Danish game yesterday was how much of a difference a crowd can make. The teams that have looked impressive, the Italians who have had been playing all their games in Rome.
Yeah.
What we've seen this season is away games and home games just pretty much level out. Man United went the whole season undefeated away, like with Harry Maguire in defence. That's how much of an impact a lack of crowds can make, and it's how much of an impact they can make when they come back in. I believe, I really do think that the Croatians haven't looked up to much, personally.
Okay.
So,
right then.
actually, this is my stat of today. I'll just get it in quickly. You were saying golden generation for the Scottish. Do you know the last time that actually you know, they've been at a few tournaments. You know, the last time they actually got out of the group stage.
Oh, well, it wasn't 98, was it? And it wasn't 96.
No. Think of all the great players they've had: Dennis Laws, the Alan Hansons, the Kenny Dalglishes, the Graham Souness.
Was it the 80s, early 80s?
The Dennis Laws,
the 70s.
All these wonderful. Scotland have never qualified for the knockouts.
Wow.
If they win tonight, it's another thing. It's going to be a packed Hampden. If they win tonight, if those lads there who have made their country proud time and time again, to quote Anna Hansen, time and time again in the last year, right?
Yeah.
If they win tonight, you'd have to say they go down as the greatest Scottish side of all time. And if that's not incentive to beat a bunch of pensioners, what is?
Well, there you go. There it is. And let's finish the Scotland chat on your prediction, Roz. I want a scoreline and a man of the match, please.
Let's go for glory. Let's go for 2-1 Scotland. And I'm going to go for, I don't think he'll start, but I just love to see this guy cry. So I'm going to go for Ryan Christie to score the winner. Because if he scores the winner, gets Scotland through to knockouts and starts tearing up, it'll be a beautiful sight.
So 2-1, Ryan Christie to score the winner. I love that prediction. I hope tomorrow, I was going to say tomorrow morning, feel like it might be slightly later edition tomorrow. I mean, I was going to say depending on what happens, but, you know, England is through, whatever. So
If Scotland win, I just won't sleep. Be fine. I'll just stay up at night. Cracking.
Mus is in the comments. He says, great stat, Roz. Let's see if they make history. Tom says, it's not hard to become great in Scotland. Mel Gibson did it. Okay, let's move on to the England game. He's literally just trying to trigger you right now, Roz, isn't he? It's just like triggering from the comments. Oh, Tom. I've missed you, mate. I've missed you. Right. Okay. Let's get on to England then, shall we? Now, Tom actually had an interesting question in yesterday's stream, and I put it off until today. Tom, I want your prediction for the England-Czech Republic game at Wembley tonight, please. Get it in there. And Mus is in the comments as well. I want your prediction for the England tonight. No Mount, no Chilwell. They're isolating after coming into contact with COVID-positive Billy Gilmore. Southgate probably set to rest a number of players. He's, you know, this question Tom asked yesterday in the stream, will England tactically finish in a certain position in the group to avoid a certain draw? We saw it happen at the World Cup in 2018. Was it a tactical decision? Did it just happen like that? But it gave us a favourable draw. Roz, firstly, would Gareth Southgate ever consider doing that?
Well, we got it at the last tournament, didn't we? Where we were playing Belgium on the last day and both teams were through. And everyone was saying, do you keep the winning side, keep the momentum going into the next round, field a second string and actually potentially get an easier draw? And what happened was I think we fielded a pretty strong side and Gareth Southgate was going for the momentum. He ended up losing anyway to a second string Belgian side. But I think Southgate's got a bit too much integrity for that. I also think that he's pragmatic, he's boring and all of that. But there is something to be said for the logic of just keeping the momentum up. I say keeping the momentum up after the last game, but tried to go into that round of 16 with a really good result under your belts and a really good sort of dynamic, intense, creative performance.
Okay.
Maybe I'm too much of an optimist. Not me if I am.
Right, so let's try and figure out the permutations then. So I haven't properly done this, right? Okay. So England are in Group D. Let's start with that. If we win Group D, we play second in Group F, which could be France, it could be Portugal, it could be Germany, it could be Hungary. Still, that's wide open, that group, isn't it? If we come second, we'll play second in Group E, which is second of Sweden, Slovakia, Spain and Poland, possibly the weakest looking group at the moment. Would you agree?
I might finish my point after you cut me off, but carry on.
Oh my God, sorry. Did I cut you off? I'm so sorry, Roz. Please forgive me.
I'll just wait for Tom to trigger me and you've done it yourself. So it's cool.
I'm sure
I'm
Tom will trigger you with his prediction for the England game somehow. Let's have a look then. So if we finish third in Group D, we
So it gets complicated, yeah.
could end up facing. We could be against the Netherlands. We could be against Belgium, or we could be against the first place in Group E, which is the Spain, Sweden, Slovakia, and Poland group. So as it stands, we don't have a clue who we're going to be playing, really and truly. It's one of about 8 teams that we could be playing. So tactically, it wouldn't make sense to try and call that, would it?
Do anything clever. 100%. Another thing is that if you don't try and go out and win the game, right, then, say we slip to third. Say we end up losing that game and we slip to third.
Yeah.
Then we could be playing Belgium.
Exactly.
So there's logic in that. I think you said it, in one of those aged football cliches a few shows ago. You said, to win a tournament, you need to be the best teams. From what I've seen so far, knowing the way we can play and knowing the players that actually haven't come back into the fold, knowing the fact that we've got Jadon Sancho that hasn't had a minute of football yet, knowing that Jack Grealish hasn't started yet and he will scare the life out of a lot of footballers.
Yeah.
We've got the players. We're not quite doing the system. This is why, as I said last time, why are we playing Rice and Phillips? You lack the creativity there. But we've got the system and we've got the players to actually terrify a lot of teams. From what I've seen so far, I'd be scared of the French. I'd be scared of the Belgians, even though I think we beat Belgium last time we played them, didn't we? We beat them 2-1 in the nation. I might be making that up. We certainly lost to them twice in the last tournament, but I would fear the Belgians. That's it. Come on, we'll beat any other team that you just listed there. The Spaniards, they haven't got a win yet. They're a side in transition. You mentioned the Netherlands. They've looked shaky at the back all tournament. They've been getting these wins. They kept a clean sheet. Well done. Who are you playing? North Macedonia. But honestly, the only teams I fear right now are the French, and the French haven't looked amazing. They've drawn against Hungary, but the reason I fear the French is I know that they can play better. I know they're in third gear and they're just taking the piss in this group stage, and it will hit the quarterfinals, the round of 16 or whatever, and they'll start sort of vamping it up. And the squad that they have is incredible. I don't fear the Portuguese after what I saw against Germany. I don't fear Germany after what I saw from them against the French. Neither of those sides, they've got 2 good results under their belt, but actually Portugal don't. I've said this before. They're just a side of players.
Yeah.
Like sort of you organise on FIFA.
So
they're not if we get second or if we get first, say we get first and we draw Portugal because Portugal will lose to France. Bring it on. Fucking redemption for 2004, 2006. Okay, now your testicles, Ricardo Carvalho, prick.
Love it. Yeah. Well, no, it's a good point. I think a lot depends on the team that Southgate puts out. Trying to bring it back to this match.
It's a match today, isn't it?
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But yeah, an amazing little rant there, Roz. Love it. But today, are we going to see a bit of squad depth from England, a bit of squad inclusion? There are a bunch of players who's yet to play at the tournament for England. Not 100% on the fitness of Maguire and Henderson yet, but they've been training. They look all right. So Ramsdale, Sam Johnston, maybe one of those could get a call in goal, you feel? Harry Maguire, as I said, not played yet. Connor Cody, Ben Chilwell and Ben White haven't played yet. Chilwell's going to miss out. But could that be our back? Could that be a back 3? Maguire, Cody and White. Also yet to start, to appear, Jordan Henderson. Could he make an appearance in the middle? Jadon Sancho and Bukayo Saka also. Not seen those yet. Do you think we'll see those players, given that it's a chance to get them a run out at the tournament, to feel part of the unit?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of all those players apart from Harry Maguire. So I hope that I'd love to see Connor Cody. Really rate him. Back 3, it'd be nice to sort of try out a different system, maybe. I think the Jadon Sancho we haven't seen yet at all. I think Sterling scored a hat-trick against the Czech Republic, which would be a very good argument. That was in qualifying
Yeah.
last year, so that'd be a very good reason to start him. I think that people are calling for this sort of single pivot, play Foden and Grealish in midfield and just have one sitting. They're forgetting that Thomas Soucek was one of the most beastly midfielders in the Premier League last year. So I still think Southgate will be pragmatic. He'll still be logical. He won't kind of throw caution to the wind. But I think even if you just have, say, a Phillips and a Henderson, get Henderson some minutes. He's hugely important and will be very good for those young players as that general midfield. So if you have him and Rice, him and Phillips, whatever, and then ahead of them, go Sancho, go Rashford and Shaw. They've got a great relationship with Man United.
Yeah.
Keep Harry Kane there, but then to stop dropping so deep. You know, stay up there. If you've got Jordan Henderson and another defensive midfielder, you're getting a bit of extra creativity from Henderson and just making those darting runs more than you would from Rice and Phillips. But yeah, I think as long as you have that double pivot, we can cope with them. And then get Grealish on the left, get Rashford on the left, get Sancho on the right, get Foden on the right, get creativity in there.
I want to play a game one time when we do this podcast. I want everyone watching to play a game of cliche bingo. And every time when you say double pivot, that is like bang. I love it. Look, from the Czech point of view tonight, Sport, their leading sport paper, has gone with the headline qualification and a reward for it. These Czech players are seeing it as a reward to play at the iconic stadium, Wembley Stadium. Okay, and their lineup, as a result, is going to be, their predicted lineup is full strength as it was against Croatia. So they're fully expecting Soufal, Soucek, Schick. They're expecting Holles in centre mid as well. Derrida in that sort of number 10 role, who was fantastic for them against Croatia. So the Czechs are going for this, mate. They're going all out.
I just say as a Millwall fan, it will probably be the only opportunity that Soufal and Soucek get to play at Wembley. I would imagine, but no, why wouldn't they? You know, I think we've got this kind of, the English go constantly between arrogance and hysteria with the worst football team in the world versus it's coming home, we're going to win it.
Yeah.
And there's very little middle ground. It's one or the other, totally binary. And we've also got, I think the arrogance creeps in when you've only heard, and I'm guilty of it sometimes, if you've only heard of 3 or 4 of the players. This is a side that no one scored more goals than Schick in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Soucek was unlucky, arguably, to not get. Did he get in the team of the season? I don't think he did, and I thought that was shocking that he didn't. But one of the best central midfielders in the Premier League last season.
Yeah.
Soufal, I think, probably did. He should have got into the right back slot in terms of teams of the season. So, you know, the players we've heard of are very good. But more than that, this is a team that have kept Croatia quiet and beaten Scotland 2-0. They've had 2 very good games, but they've also got that winning mentality. They're playing at Wembley. They're going to come at us, and they probably will go full strength. But, you know, stop us if they can, because we're the England man.
Brilliant. Okay, right. It's time to finish up. So let's go with... Oh, hang on. Let's just get this comment in from Tom. He's undecided. He says it depends what team Gaz puts out. I think England could want second. So could the Czechs, could they want second as well? Interesting point. Strong team could win it 3-1 for England. A weaker team, maybe 1 or 2-1. So you reckon England will concede their first goal of the tournament and their first goal in a few games as well? 4 clean sheets in a row, I think it was, after the final whistle against Scotland. He also says bring in Bellingham and give Phillips a rest. Yeah. Great shout. I'd love to see Jude Bellingham start. I'd love to see Jadon Sancho start. I'd love to see Bukayo Saka start. Give us some excitement, you know, give us some fearless young players who want to get that shirt on their back for the next game. Get Grealish to start.
Such a great shout. Imagine 17-year-old Bellingham next to Jordan Henderson. How good for Bellingham would that be? How good for Henderson's fitness would that be?
Yeah.
Both players were head on them, holding that, you know, just sitting in front of the back 3, back 4, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then go creative everywhere else.
Great shout from Tom in the comments. Thank you very much, Tom, for your comments as always. It's been a pleasure. Roz, very quickly, England versus the Czech Republic. Scoreline, man of the match, please.
I'm going to go 2-0 England. I'm going to go for Harry Kane to find his feet again. Let's go for Harry Kane, man of the match.
2-0 England, Kane, man of the match. Lovely. I hope, as with the Scotland prediction, I hope we're talking about it tomorrow at some point. Cheers, Roz. See you in the morning.
That's what, mate. See ya.